Welcome to Fuck, I Loved That. But now you can actually see it. I'm your guest host, and we are trying something totally new today, our very first visual explainer. So if you're part of the podcast family, thank you for taking this leap with us into the great unknown. And if you're new here, well, get ready. We take the incredible stuff that our collaborator Jen McCrae pulls together every week, and we turn it into a crash course on the absolutely massive transformation that we are all trying to navigate. Today, we're talking about the great unraveling and the great reweaving. And this quote right here from Malte at Anima Mundi, it just gets right to the point, doesn't it? That feeling that everything is just a little bit off, like the whole world is glitching. Yeah, you're not imagining it. We are all stuck in this bizarre, strange gap between the world that was and whatever the hell is coming next. And it feels weird. Malte actually has a name for this. He calls it the Great Buffering. You know that little spinning wheel of death on your computer screen? It's like that, but for your life and for society. The old systems are breaking down right in front of us, but the new ones, they haven't quite loaded yet. And that gap creates this constant, low-level hum of anxiety for everyone. And this feeling of, well, cognitive dissonance. Like two realities are playing out at once. And look, this isn't just a vibe. It's not just a feeling. It's actually measurable. Malte's research breaks down this collective anxiety into these key drivers you see here. But the numbers behind them tell the real story. A wild 89% of people are afraid of losing their job to AI. 65% are just completely burned out by politics. This isn't just you. It's a shared, quantifiable reality. Okay, so let's move from that feeling of unease to the cold, hard numbers. Because behind the great buffering is something we're calling the great unraveling. Our economic, our cultural, our social structures, they are actively decaying. And we've got the receipts. 300 million. Just let that number sink in for a second. According to a Goldman Sachs report that Shaman Isis was talking about, that's how many full-time jobs could be automated by AI. And get this, she thinks that's a conservative number. This isn't a small disruption. This is a seismic, tectonic shift in how our economy even works. So how are we all responding to this culturally? Well, with things like bed rotting. Now, as David Shapiro puts it, this isn't just about laziness. It is a quiet rebellion against hustle culture. It's a symptom, just like quiet quitting and lying flat, of this really deep collective disillusionment with the promise that if you just work hard enough, everything will be okay. The social decay? Oh, it definitely shows up in the numbers. This chart from Malte's work just lays it out so clearly. Back in 1958, 73% of Americans trusted their government. Today, just 22%. It's what some people are calling zombie institutions. You know, the lights are on, but they're spiritually, functionally, pretty much dead. So what it all comes down to is this. The contract has been broken. Shaman Isis reminds us that for generations, we were sold this idea that a stable job was your purpose. It was your path. But David Shapiro's work shows us the new reality. Our purpose has been replaced by precarity, just a series of gigs managed by algorithms that really don't give a damn about our well-being. Now, let's talk about the engine that's driving all of this at an absolutely unbelievable speed: AI. But we have to think about AI not just as another piece of tech. It's something else entirely. It's a force multiplier. It's what Matt McDonough calls a factorial engine. And it's accelerating both the unraveling and maybe, just maybe, the reweave. Okay, so this is a really big concept from Matt McDonough, so stick with me here. We're used to thinking about linear change, right? One step at a time. Or maybe even exponential change, things doubling, getting faster and faster. But factorial change is different. It's not just faster, it's wider. It's AI connecting ideas from totally separate fields to create these leaps in complexity that our human brains just can't track. McDonough's apple-picking analogy makes this crystal clear. Okay, so linear thinking is building a taller ladder. Makes sense. Exponential thinking is building a drone to pick the apples for you. Cool. But factorial thinking, that's building an AI-managed system that re-engineers the very concept of an apple from the ground up. It's a change in kind, not just in degree. And here's the really terrifying extractive side of that factorial engine. Sonder uncertainly warns that we're moving from software as a service to employee as a service. Bots aren't just our tools anymore. They are becoming a new kind of digital labor designed to replace us, to exploit us, and to watch our every move. But, and this is a huge but, on the flip side of that threat is this absolutely mind-bending promise from Matt McDonough. He argues that scarcity is basically just a failure of imagination, and we are about to partner with an infinite imagination. The potential for a real utopia is accelerating right alongside the potential for a total dystopia, and that is the holy fuck moment of our time. So faced with that paradox, with that dizzying speed of change, what do? Well, this brings us to the third act, the human reweaving. This is about the hopeful, human-centered responses and alternatives that are already starting to pop up in the cracks of that old, dying system. So that brings us to the real question, right? The old world is breaking. The new one is coming at us with factorial speed. So, what the fuck do we do? Let's take a look at what people are already building. And the answer, it turns out, is a lot. The reweaving is already happening everywhere. People are making AI more human. They're pioneering conscious leadership. They are building brand new economies and redesigning how and where we live. At its very core, it's about reclaiming connection on every single level. These are the seeds of a new world. I mean, take this quote from Christina Bogovich. She's one of the people doing that invisible work of editing AI, that quiet, empathetic labor of making technology feel more human, more respectful. As she puts it, her work becomes invisible, but it's what shapes the entire visible experience. It's the human touch inside the machine. And then there's this powerful statement from C Street. It is a direct challenge to this idea that all wisdom can just be processed by a machine. She reminds us that some wisdom is embodied. It's earned through lived experience, through the pressure, through the compost of life. She says it's the alchemists who are turning the lead of this moment into the gold of tomorrow. Okay, this brings us to our final section, and it frames this whole challenge around one core choice. If the old operating system is crashing, what fundamental protocol are we going to choose to build the future on? What's going to be the invisible architecture of our new world? And here, Richard Flyer offers this radical, provocative, and honestly, deeply resonant idea. He suggests the foundation for a new civilization isn't some new technology, but a relational protocol we have had all along. The original protocol, he says, was love. Not as a sentiment, but as a structure, an organizing principle.
And this isn't just some, abstract hippie idea. Flyer makes it so practical with what he calls symbiotic culture DNA. This is the blueprint. It means building communities around a shared purpose, not around politics. It means relationships built on mutual care, not on transactions. It's about focusing on real, local needs and sharing leadership instead of hoarding it. This makes the protocol of love a concrete tool for building our future.
So ultimately, this whole narrative of the great unraveling and reweaving, it simplifies into this one stark choice. We can keep going with the old protocol of extraction and control, which is leading us to collapse, or we can consciously choose a new protocol, one based on connection and creation and care. This is where our power lies. So what now? First, know that your anxiety is valid. The system is unraveling. But remember, this is a factorial shift. It's a change in kind, not just speed. And most importantly, we are not passive victims in this story. We are the active weavers of whatever comes next. The work is to find your people, build your alternative, and consciously choose your protocol. The world is rebooting. The question is, what protocol will you run? As always, love's the only thing we haven't tried yet, and we fucking love you. P.S. Since this is our very first time at this video rodeo, we would love to know what you think of the new format. We are all in this experiment together. Thanks for watching.